It's books that they've chosen, that they're interested in. We've practiced really hard how to choose a just right book at their own level and one that's interesting. And we've practiced really hard choosing wise books. So they have to be books that are going to help them become stronger readers. And we call that lots of different things, like a stronger reader, a proficient reader, a wiser reader. And so every day we practice becoming stronger readers with wise books. And so we choose the books from my classroom library. Because of that classroom library, I have a little bit of control about those wise books and make sure that there's something there that they're all interested in. And because it's my library, I know what books are there. So if a kid says, I'm having trouble finding a just right book for Reader's Workshop today, but I really like reading about dogs, I know that I have this section in there that's all about dogs, and I can take them over and help him find a book that's going to help him become a stronger reader. My writing is this, when I teach writing, it's the same way. We use a book to model a writing strategy, and then they practice in their own writing. They write about what they want to write about. That classroom library, I couldn't do it without the classroom library. I know that we have a library upstairs, but I don't know what's there. It could take us 40 minutes up there to find a book and read it for. And yeah, all of my kids are at different levels. So some of them can read some of the grade 7 books I still have in my room, right? Because I still have those grade 7 books. Some of them are still at the books that I brought from home that are my son's books, because he's not there yet. But some of them are maybe at a grade 1-2 level, but they're all there, right? And I can help them along. If I take them to the library, I can't help them individually because we're all there at the same time. And like I said, I don't know what's there. In my classroom library, when we're working together, it gives me more time also to help them individually. What else do I need to say? I feel like I'm missing out. So when they're practicing in their Just Right books, they're reading for about a half hour, 40 minutes, and I conference with them. So I go and I read along with them, they read to me, and I help them with their individual reading. So that gives me time. Right now I can only get about 2 conferences in, but I'm just beginning this, so I hope to get maybe 4 or 5 conferences in. So I'm touching base with those kids.
The conferences per day or per week? Or
I right now 2 a day.
Oh, yeah.
So I've read with every single kid in my class more than once already.
Yeah.
Which is way better than I used to. I know what each of those kids can do, what they need to work on, and how we make a plan together how they're going to get better. So when they're working in their Just Right books, we also have a reader's notebook, and they write down their thinking. So they're showing me their strategies, and they're thinking about the book, and it's based on what strategy I was teaching them that day. Like today we worked on making a text-to-text connection, so digging into our book and thinking, well, how does this book that I'm reading today connect to another book that I've read? And it's really hard. And so they could all do it. Today was the first time I ever taught it text-to-text connection. This is new to me. And it was hard for me to make that. Like I had to stop and think. But that thinking and digging deep into those books is what's going to make them become a stronger reader. I really feel that any kid could just answer a set of questions at the end and still not really understand what they've read. Mm-hmm. That's how I used to teach reading. Everybody reads the same story. Mm-hmm. Here are the questions. You get really good at just skimming to find the answers, right? You weren't thinking. Also, that story's maybe not going to be at their level. Some of them might need a challenge, and some of them, that's way too tough for them, so it's not helping them at all.
Jolene,
it's also not engaging, it's not interesting.
Sorry, I don't mean to, isn't there something, because you know way more about Reader's Workshop than I do, but isn't there something about like the value of just like physically having the books in the room? You've talked about the importance like from a logistic perspective because you know what's there and like it helps your planning for the kids, but isn't a part of it like that the books are there and they create part of the classroom environment and that homey kind of feeling?
So how classroom helps support my readers workshop and my reading instruction and my writing instruction. So I have lamps everywhere. We have a reading corner with a beanbag chair. I have all these little nooks, and for most of the morning, the kids are not working at their desks. They're not sitting at their desk. They're sitting in a spot that's comfortable for them, so they can dig into their book and do their job.
Did they take the books home?
I struggle with that because they want to take their books home, but then I don't have them sign them out. And last year my grade 7s were really good. I let them take them home. I still had all my books in the end, but now I'm just not sure where to go with that with grade 4s. And I've talked to other grade 4 teachers, and they don't let them take the books home. So I've kind of told my kids, don't take the books home. If you really need to work on that tonight, talk to me and we'll make a deal. So, what else I need?
And they can take, say, like library books home.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like what I heard you say too, which my big sort of 3 ideas around what I believe and what I heard you say was like the same thing as like we've been doing with math over the last few years. There's an evolution there. Our goal in education is to teach kids, to teach them for understandings, right? So they're learning for understanding and not just memorization or regurgitation or follow this step 1, 2, 3 and I'll get the answer. So we're teaching for understanding and we're teaching specifically to try and engage kids in using like thinking skills, right? So even when we talk about the reading strategies, reading strategies are just explicit thinking skills, right? That's all they are. And so, and you talked about the engagement piece, and I won't get into.
They're immersed in
details.
literature.
Right. You know, there's a lot of stuff about the old model, right, where everybody read like, you know, Island of the Blue Dolphins and filled up the chapter questions. I mean, we know that because there's been a lot of research done where they've kind of asked kids. And, you know, and kids are awesome because they'll tell you the truth, especially after the fact. They're like, well, I didn't read it. I fake read it.
Yeah.
You know, they get into high school.